Hi, I'm Mike Collins. I'm a pastor and the author of the new book, Caveman to Priest. Today, we're going to be reading from day 7. This is another session, trauma counseling session. She had me call my parts, my emotions, and we were on the path. We're actually on the path right now. I had to tell them that they needed to stay here while I went down the path alone. I told them I would be back, but please stay here. And Mary, Frank, and Sal were fine with that. We were actually on the path to Blood Mountain in Georgia. At the spot, I saw Mike A. Up ahead where that little tree was. I walked the path, and then Barbara said, ahead is a gate. I approached a gate, and it was locked. But she told me to look through it, and that the other side, there was something that was my heart's desire. I looked through, and it was to turn ahead to the bluff of Blood Mountain, and the sun was beautiful. She said, now you're being pulled back to the beginning of the path. It was so amazing. Immediately, I felt myself falling upwards in the Lord. Wow, I've felt it before, but not this intense. And I didn't know. I'm back at the beginning of the path with Mary, Frank, and Sal, and I realized that I was looking into heaven. There was no guilt or sadness not being able to get in. They, Papa God, just told me it wasn't time. I had to stop and take it all in. It was so breathtaking. I really looked into heaven. Once again, I didn't realize it when it was happening, but when I would upward fall, like the song Touch the Sky by Hillsong, I realized that I was going up to heaven. Wow, I was just staring into heaven. It was so beautiful, and I didn't know it. Then she said, ask if my parts are ready to go with me on the path, but they have to be different. Mary was set, grabbed my hand, and was ready, but Frank and Sal weren't. They didn't want to change. They weren't ready. They had no grid for it. They didn't say it, but it was like, you two are Jesus freaks and we're not. They told me, like Peter jumping out of the boat to run to Jesus, a quote from Matthew 14:25 through 32, there was just no way. It was so sad. They just didn't have it in them. They just couldn't do it. They just weren't ready. At this point, Barbara said to go back to the fire at the little house. And there we were, and there was Jesus. He had Bear with him. Bear is just so lovable and kind. Okay, that's day 7. Look forward to talking with you more. Bye now.